You probably think fasting is one long process where your body simply burns through stored energy until you eat again. But that's not what actually happens. Your metabolism doesn't stay in one mode. It moves through a series of distinct physiological transitions, each controlled by different hormones, different fuel sources, and different priorities for survival. Imagine your body as a hybrid power plant. It has multiple energy systems standing by, but only one runs at full capacity at any given moment. As one fuel becomes scarce, another system quietly takes over. If you understand when those switches happen, and why, you'll understand what your body is really doing during a fast instead of relying on myths or social media claims. Today, we're going to walk through 6 levels of fasting, hour by hour, and uncover what changes inside your body as you move from digesting your last meal to relying on stored energy. Some changes happen within hours, others require much longer, and a few are often misunderstood because the science is far more nuanced than many headlines suggest. Level 1. The fed state. 0 to 4 hours. The journey begins the moment you finish eating. Although many people think fasting starts immediately, your body is still fully occupied processing the nutrients you've just consumed. Carbohydrates are broken down into glucose, proteins into amino acids, and fats into fatty acids. These nutrients enter the bloodstream, prompting the pancreas to release insulin. Think of insulin as the traffic controller of your metabolism. Its primary job is to direct incoming fuel toward the right destination. Some glucose is burned immediately to meet your current energy needs. Excess glucose is packaged into glycogen, a compact storage form kept mainly inside the liver and skeletal muscles. If those storage sites become full, additional energy may eventually be stored as body fat. During this period, your body has no reason to draw heavily on its long-term energy reserves. The fuel arriving from your meal is abundant and easy to use. This is also when digestion requires the greatest amount of work. Blood flow shifts toward the digestive organs, digestive enzymes are actively breaking food apart, and your metabolism is focused on processing, sorting, and storing nutrients rather than searching for new energy sources. Many people assume that calories disappear the moment they finish eating. In reality, your body is still handling the consequences of that meal for several hours. Level 2. The transition phase. 4 to 12 hours. As digestion slows, insulin gradually begins to decline. At the same time, another hormone becomes increasingly important: glucagon. If insulin is responsible for storing energy, glucagon has the opposite mission. It tells the liver that it's time to begin releasing some of the glycogen that was stored earlier. Picture your liver as a carefully managed reserve tank. It doesn't dump all of its fuel at once. Instead, it meters out glucose gradually to help keep your blood sugar within a healthy range between meals. This explains why most healthy people can comfortably go many hours without eating while maintaining relatively stable blood glucose levels. Around this stage, hunger often becomes more noticeable. But hunger is not determined solely by empty stomachs or low blood sugar. Hormones such as ghrelin also follow learned daily rhythms. If you usually eat lunch at noon, your brain may signal hunger simply because it expects food, even when your body still has ample energy available. That distinction matters. A hunger signal is not always a sign that your body is running out of fuel. Sometimes it reflects habit more than necessity. For many people, this is the first psychological challenge of fasting, rather than the first metabolic challenge. Level 3. The metabolic switch. 12 to 18 hours. As liver glycogen continues to decline, your metabolism begins relying more heavily on stored fat. This transition isn't triggered by a magic clock. It depends on factors such as your previous meals, physical activity, muscle mass, and individual metabolism. But for many healthy adults, this period marks the beginning of a noticeable shift. Fat cells begin releasing fatty acids into the bloodstream through a process called lipolysis. These fatty acids become an increasingly important fuel source for muscles and many other tissues throughout the body. Meanwhile, the liver begins converting some of these fatty acids into ketone bodies. Ketones are not emergency fuel. They are an alternative fuel that the body has evolved to produce whenever carbohydrate availability decreases. This adaptation has allowed humans to survive periods when food was unpredictable throughout history. Some people notice that their early hunger gradually becomes less intense during this stage. Others report more stable energy after the initial adjustment. Individual experiences vary, but the underlying physiology reflects one important principle: your body is becoming more flexible in the fuels it can use, rather than depending almost exclusively on incoming dietary glucose. Level 4. The ketone adaptation, 18 to 24 hours. By now, your metabolism has shifted further away from depending on recently eaten food. Fat has become a major energy source, and ketone production continues to increase. Think of this as upgrading from a backup generator to a second power grid. During the earlier hours, ketones were only beginning to appear. Now, they are becoming a meaningful contributor to your body's energy supply. Your brain normally relies heavily on glucose, but it is remarkably adaptable. As ketone levels rise, the brain gradually begins using them alongside glucose. This doesn't happen instantly, nor does it replace glucose completely, but it reduces the demand for newly produced glucose. That reduction matters because it helps preserve valuable protein in the body. A common misconception is that fasting immediately forces your body to consume large amounts of muscle. Human physiology is more sophisticated than that. Your body has evolved multiple strategies to preserve essential tissues while drawing primarily on stored fat whenever possible. Hormonal changes support this transition. Insulin remains relatively low, glucagon continues directing stored fuel into circulation, and growth hormone secretion may increase during fasting. Growth hormone does not magically build muscle while you're fasting, but it contributes to maintaining lean tissue and supporting normal metabolic adaptation. At this point, many people describe their energy differently. Instead of rapid highs and lows after meals, they notice a steadier pattern. That doesn't mean everyone feels amazing after 20 hours without food. Hydration, sleep quality, physical activity, stress, and overall health all influence the experience. The important lesson is not how you feel on a particular day, it's understanding why your body's preferred fuel is changing. Level 5. Extended fasting, 24 to 48 hours. Crossing the 24-hour mark introduces another phase of adaptation. Your liver is now producing ketones at a much higher rate than it was during the first day. Many organs continue relying heavily on fatty acids, while the brain increases its use of ketones to reduce its dependence on glucose. Meanwhile, your body continues producing glucose through a process called gluconeogenesis. This often surprises people. Even during prolonged fasting, your body does not stop making glucose. Certain cells, including red blood cells, still require it because they lack the machinery needed to burn fat directly. Instead of obtaining glucose from food, your liver manufactures it from compounds such as lactate, glycerol, released from fat tissue, and selected amino acids. Think of gluconeogenesis as an emergency workshop. Rather than waiting for new materials to arrive, your body carefully repurposes available resources to produce exactly what remains essential. Another topic frequently discussed during this stage is cellular recycling. You may have heard claims that your body suddenly switches on a massive cleaning program at a precise fasting hour. The reality is more complicated. Cells constantly repair and recycle damaged components throughout life. Research suggests that nutrient deprivation can influence pathways involved in this process, but scientists cannot currently point to a universal clock that says it begins at exactly 18, 24, or 36 hours in every person. Your metabolism responds to nutrient availability as a continuum rather than flipping a single biological switch. That distinction is important because understanding the science helps separate evidence from exaggeration. Level 6. Beyond 48 hours. After 2 days without food, fasting enters a category that is very different from the shorter fasting schedules commonly discussed. Ketone production continues increasing, and fat remains the dominant fuel for many tissues. The brain may obtain a substantial portion of its energy from ketones, helping conserve glucose for cells that absolutely require it. At the same time, longer fasts place greater demands on the body. Electrolyte balance becomes increasingly important. Sodium, potassium, and other minerals influence nerve function, muscle contraction, and heart rhythm. Inadequate intake or excessive losses can become medically significant during prolonged fasting. Fluid requirements also become more important because changes in insulin and glycogen storage alter how much water the body retains. This is why extended fasting should not be viewed as simply doing more of a 16-hour fast. The physiological challenges become increasingly complex as time progresses. For individuals taking medications, especially insulin or drugs that lower blood sugar, or for those who are pregnant, breastfeeding, have a history of eating disorders, or live with certain chronic medical conditions, prolonged fasting should only be considered with guidance from a qualified healthcare professional. The bigger picture. The most important takeaway isn't that one fasting duration is universally better than another. The real lesson is that your metabolism is remarkably adaptable. It is designed to shift between incoming food, stored glycogen, body fat, ketone production, and internally produced glucose, according to changing conditions. Modern life often gives us constant access to food, making it easy to forget that human physiology evolved in environments where meals were not always guaranteed. Fasting doesn't unlock hidden superpowers, nor does it automatically heal every disease. But understanding how your body changes across these 6 levels reveals something far more valuable. Your metabolism is not fragile, it is dynamic. Every hour without food activates carefully coordinated biological systems that have helped humans survive for thousands of years. The more you understand those systems, the better equipped you are to make informed decisions about nutrition, meal timing, and your own health, based on evidence rather than myths.